Let's bring on Christian Toto and talk about this more. Christian Toto is a friend. He's an award-winning journalist, film critic, and podcaster. He's the founder of HollywoodInToto.com, one of the only places where you can read about the movies from a right-wing perspective from a guy who actually knows something about the movies. I mean, right-wingers are always writing about the movies, but they don't really know anything about the movies. You can find him on Twitter at HollywoodInToto, T-O-T-O, at HollywoodInToto. How you doing, Christian? It's good to see you.
I'm great. Good to see you. I want to have some of those steaks if you can.
I know. They're so good. You wrote a piece recently in which that actually had me in it, where you asked about boycotting. Whether it's right to boycott films. Let's begin. Why did you write the piece? What brought that into your mind at the time? It was before Trump talked about boycotting the NFL.
Yeah, it's something that I never would have imagined writing 2 years ago or maybe even 1 year ago. But I feel like the landscape is changing and shifting. And I think that for years, Hollywood conservatives have been basically fighting like the Marquise of Queensberry rules, where we're all kind of doing this and following the rules and doing what we're supposed to do. And the other side is slinging mud and kicking our shins and rabbit punching us. And I get the sense that people are just fed up. Kurt Schlichter is a guy on Twitter who's often just really aggressive and hardcore. And I think in the past, I would say, oh, tone it down, Kurt. You're a great guy. I love you. Now I'm almost cheering him on when he kind of goes on his diatribes. And I just think that we can't keep playing the same way we've been on the right. And so I want to reach out to a bunch of prominent people like yourself to find out what they're thinking. And I got a variety of responses. But again, I don't think those responses would be the same as maybe a year ago. I think people understand there's something significant going on in the culture. And the same old is not working. It's not changing things. It's not helping our cause. And that's why I wanted to investigate.
I mean, when I read the piece, I'm in it and Ben Shapiro's in it. I think Kurt is in it too. And we all have, I think, this reluctance. I know I do. I mean, I'm a political person, but I'm also a novelist. I've written films. Most of my novels are, I won't call them apolitical, but they're thriller novels. They're meant to be entertaining and, gripping and all this stuff. And I would hate to have, I have been hate bombed by people where they put bad reviews up for you on Amazon and all this stuff. And it does seem unfair to me. And I'd hate to respond to them this way. But, this is the big but, when I look at the landscape and I see no late night comedians who are on the right, when I see no movies that are on the right, when I see nobody stand up at the Emmys or the Oscars and say, hey, let's give Donald Trump a chance, stop dissing your audience all the time, it changes your mind. I mean, I think that at least a boycott is some kind of cultural statement, isn't it?
Yeah, and I almost think you could just do the opposite and just say, hey, Dwayne Johnson doesn't shove his politics in my face. Kevin Hart doesn't do that. Jeff Bridges is kind of magnanimous when it comes to Donald Trump. Maybe I support maybe it's sort of a reverse move where you put more attention, more dollars into their coffers and say, hey, I like them. I like their approach. I'm going to do it. Because I think what we've seen over the weekend with the NFL is we're exhausted, where everything is political, where we have no escape. There is no more way to kind of just check out and put the politics aside and say, hey, I want to watch a football game. I want to watch the X-Files. But now I've got David Duchovny on a knee sharing a picture of that on Instagram and social media. I'm exhausted. My fellow conservatives are exhausted. We need a break. And the fact that all the powers that be don't realize that, it staggers me. Well,
I think it's indicative of two different attitudes. The right feels that the arts, sports, and the culture should be somehow above politics at some level, but the left feels like no. Every minute of every day you need to be reminded that America is racist. You're a racist. You're a homophobic. Every day. I mean, I started to watch Stephen King, and I'm a big King fan. I started to watch Stephen King's The Mist. And in the first 5 minutes, there were like 3 lectures on tolerance toward transgender, gay people. And by the way, I feel quite very tolerant toward gay people, certainly. And, I'm not opposed to people being transgender. I just don't want to be lectured. I just want to see a monster in the mist kill somebody, So it's like you say we are weary of it, but they never stop.
No, and a lecture is the opposite of entertainment.
That's right.
It takes you out of the situation, it puts you in a different place, and it's not storytelling. I mean, at the core of it, I always refer to George A. Romero from Dawn of the Dead. He wanted to comment about consumerism, and he's got zombies lurking in a mall. And there wasn't a speech. It was a visual, and you could take away, oh, look, there's zombies in the mall, or think, boy, that's just like my uncle and aunt when they're kind of, walking through the mall looking for something to buy, bored. I mean, it let the viewer make the interpretation where they can sort of dictate how they wanted to appreciate it. And it works on multiple levels. And I think that's smart. And I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with an actor saying, I want to vote for Hillary or Obama. It's the lecture, it's the condescension, and it's the hate. And we're seeing a lot of hate right now.
No question. Did you see Logan Lucky?
I did. I was amused by it. I think I expected more, given the cast and given the talent behind the scenes.
Soderbergh basically said that he just suddenly realized that these people exist, and he basically, remade Ocean's 11 with them in it, with hillbillies in it. Do you think Trump is causing any kind of awakening at all? I mean, I notice on TV, SEAL Team is coming on, and there's some things about, more military shows. I know that some of the people on these shows, I know personally, are left-wingers. But still, they, at least they're paying tribute to the military, paying tribute to America. You assume a show about SEAL Team is going to have some patriotism in it. Do you think Trump has caused any kind of awakening with these folks at all?
If it is, it's minor. There was some lip service paid to that. The head of ABC mentioned, we need to respect the election, look at our programming and see who we are addressing, who's the subject of our stories. But I haven't seen much since then. And actually, once that person said that, they went out and canceled Last Man Standing, one of the few shows with Tim Allen that spoke to another side of America. So I don't think so. I think the hatred is all-consuming, and where you've got people who are genuinely talented and who could do the right thing, or at least tell stories that are more inclusive, they're shutting down. The tantrum we're seeing from Hollywood has not abated. In fact, it may be getting stronger. So yeah, I think that was a great opportunity to say, hey, let us reevaluate. Let us look at our programming and ourselves and the stories we're telling. And, I don't think that Logan Lucky is a good film or a great film, but at least he had that wherewithal to say, there are more people that are unlike me out there. I'm going to address them. I'm going to treat them with a modicum of respect, and I'm going to branch out my storytelling. And so A for effort, even if the movie's not a classic.
Yeah, and I could hear I could hear liberals on podcasts kind of saying, why did he make this? Why are these people there? Why? And it has NASCAR in it and all these things. And I thought a NASCAR fan could go to this movie and enjoy people that he maybe, who maybe live around him, watch them kind of rip off the man. It's kind of fun in some way. I always feel that conservatives are in this defensive posture with the culture. They make the movies. The left makes the movies. The left makes the TV shows. The left writes the novels and publishes the novels. We criticize. We say, oh, that's not good. How do you feel? I mean, I have ideas on this myself, but how do you feel we can start to make a contribution besides attacking and boycotting them?
Well, I think we do it in part on social media because it takes regular citizens to fight back and to expose the hypocrisy and lies. And I think that that's done. I mean, I give my fellow conservatives a lot of credit. I think what they do on social media is outstanding. And I think it holds people to account for what they say. But we're still, you and I have this conversation every year or two. Yeah. We're still not seeing the influx of programming, the content. And, the bar for programming is so low now where you can have a YouTube channel. You can have a small indie film made for $500,000. I think that's where we have to kind of start making inroads. It's not going to be a $100 million big budget film. We don't have that capacity yet, but we do have the capacity to make smaller films, to make documentaries, and work our way into the space. And I think that's the steps that need to be taken. And I think there are some moments there and some feints, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, when I see the reaction to Trump on the football thing and the right saying, why is he doing this? Why, I feel like the Joker in Batman. Why so serious? This is where, this is the field of play. This is where the culture takes place. Christian Toto, go to HollywoodInToto.com. We need these voices. We need voices like yours, Christian, and people have to come and see what you're doing at HollywoodInToto.com, or find him on Twitter at HollywoodInToto, T-O-T-O. Christian, we'll talk to you again soon, I hope.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye.